welcome to the Ladybug Laboratory podcast. My name is Lily and I will be your host for today. This is a show all about knitting, mostly, with sometimes some other crafting like crochet, sewing, cross-stitch, stuff like that. It has been a long time since I have recorded for you guys. Today is Sunday, September 17th, so it's been almost 2 months since I recorded. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and my upcoming recording schedule as we go farther on. But before we go any farther, this is a new backdrop. I am recording today at the Black Squirrel, which is a local yarn shop for me. It's in Berkeley. And many of you have probably heard me mention it before if you're a returning viewer. And occasionally I will run the shop on the weekends, and so I'm doing that today, so I decided to come on up a little bit early and record for you guys. So that's where I am. A couple of announcements. Number one, we do have a make-along going on in the Ravelry group. This is the Made For Me make-along, and the idea is that you make something for you with no guilt attached. There's a chatter thread and a finished objects thread in the Ravelry group, which is the Ladybug Laboratory Ravelry podcast group. And go ahead, enter in there. There will be prizes coming out soon for that. I'm planning to record those either when I get home today or maybe tomorrow. For segments today, we have some works in progress, as well as July totals, and a little bit of prattle. So without further ado, let's get started. So for works in progress today, I'm going to start with my Snowfall shawl. And this is in a Ladybug's project bag. This is by Linear String. And this was a gift from Carolyn of the Next Beautiful Thing podcast. Hi, Carolyn. I'm sure you're not watching because you're busy and crazy, but I love you if you are. Thank you very, very much. And Carolyn also gifted me this pattern, which was a wonderful gift. I had made a joke about how I missed snow and I wish she could send me snow from Canada. And so she gifted me this pattern, which is designed off of a snowflake. It is called Frau Hull by Lotte Gregor. And I had already planned to make a lace natural colored shawl, so it was perfect. This is using US 5s, which is a 3.75 millimeter, and I am using cubics for this. And I'm also using Black Trillium Fiber Studio Silken Lace in the natural colorway, which is a silk and merino blend. So here it is. It's getting massive. I'm at about 550 stitches now. So this little tea bag is where I was when you saw me last time. I have no idea if this is focusing, by the way, so I hope it is. But since then, I had finished at that point the first chart and the first 2 repeats of the second chart. So I did 2 repeats of the third chart, and I did the fourth chart, which is these sort of snowflakey things. And when I did the fourth chart, I decided to go up from these smaller beads to bigger beads, but I didn't do them for all of them. I only did the big beads for the center and the second in from the edge on each snowflake. I don't know if you can see that. I really hope you can. So I'm really excited about that. All that I have left to do is sort of, I guess, the bind off. In the pattern, there's an icicles bind off, and I like the effect of the icicles, but I think they're a little bit too pointy. So I'm sort of shopping around for something else that I can do, maybe using picots or something like that. But once I decide what I'm going to do for the ending, that's all that I have left to do, which of course is still quite a bit because picots or applied edgings are always lots of extra work. It is ending up about perfect in terms of the yarn that I have left. This is all that I've got left. This was a 200 gram skein. And so one interesting thing about this, so a couple of weeks ago, I was working on this project and I was actually up here at the shop and my needles broke. And I'll put a picture in here, but like when you have circular needles, there's the needle and then there's the join, and it broke like right here, right where the needle hit the cord. And I didn't realize it, and I kept knitting, and I was probably at like 300, 400 stitches at that point. And I just kept going, and it took me a minute to realize that on my right side, the stitches were just coming off at the end of the needle, and all of a sudden they were just like open, and I had dropped probably about 100 or 200 stitches. And thank God I was still at the store, because I had just bought a new pair of metal size 5s, and I quickly picked up all the stitches. I barely made it, but I did make it. So that's my first work in progress. My second work in progress is what I'm calling my endless tube, which is something that I cast on for my trip, my family reunion. I needed a lot of vanilla knitting, and so I decided to make my first knee-high socks. And I was using my Chiagoos size 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter 9-inch circs. And so I'm using the Harvest, or Cascade Heritage prints in the Harvest, or the Autumn, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, the Autumn colorway. And it looks like this. It's kind of like self-striping. And so what I did is I did a provisional cast on, and then I picked up my stitches and I knit the foot. And then I did basically what amounts to what will eventually be an afterthought heel. And I kept going, and after I got through 2 whole levels of the stripes, I started increasing. And at first I wasn't going to increase, but I started trying it on, and it needed to be increased. So I increased from, I believe this was 50, this was 60 stitches when I cast it on. I increased from 60 up to about 100, and then I did a couple of decreases about an inch later, and I just popped some waste yarn in. So what I have now is 2 identical tubes, okay? Each one doesn't have a toe, doesn't have a heel, and doesn't have a cuff. And I used almost all of the yarn. I mean, I think I have like 7 grams of yarn left. So that was really awesome. I think I'm gonna use this, which is a Knit Pig Stroll Tonal, for the cuffs, heels, and toes. I think that goes okay. Let me know what you think. I haven't 100% decided. It's the best I can find in my stash, but it's maybe not perfect. And I'm planning to do the cuffs, heels, and toes with a US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter, so it will be slightly smaller, but not so much smaller. It'll just be enough to give it a little bit of a tighter gauge and make them more durable. Yeah, so that's what I did basically all of my trip when I needed vanilla knitting, and it was wonderful. That's in my Winnie the Pooh bag by Little Skein and the Big Bull. And my third work in progress is also a pair of knee-high socks. So I suppose this would be my second ever pair. This is the Sterntaler pattern, which is also by Lotte Gregor, the same person who did the Snowfall pattern. And it's a pair of knee-high socks. I don't have the pattern with me, I wish I did, but it has this sort of cable detail that goes into this pattern that looks almost like stars. And so I used the bottom of this all the way up through about here as kind of like vanilla knitting while I was in meetings and stuff. And then I transitioned to this. And then I had a problem, which is that it broke. Again, clearly I have a pattern. I don't know what to do about it. There's got to be something I can do, but so now that's on hold. I just got the replacement needles in for this the other day. You're about to hear the train go by. There is a train right next to the black squirrel. So I'm going to pause for a minute while the train goes by. Okay, the train is gone. So I'm using US 1.5s, just a 2.5 millimeter on these. The yarn is a fingering weight, but it is a little bit more of like a springy, thicker fingering weight. So I'm loving the texture that it's giving me. The yarn that I'm using is MJ Yarn's Tough Ram in the Axonite colorway. It's this beautiful tonal chocolatey brown. I really am in love with this color. And that is living in my, oh, here comes another train. That's living in my Lone Larch Studios on the go bag, because it was sort of like a travel project until I got to the patterns. I'll probably switch it out to something else now that it's not a go project anymore. But that is that one, and now I'm going to pause for the train again. Alright, so I've only got 2 more works in progress for today. My next one is living in my Studio in the Green Kit Kats bag. It's got these little kitties on it. And here we go. So this one, okay. So this project I am using Blue Sky Fibers wool stock, which is 100% wool. And I'm using it in 2 colorways, the Wild Thyme and Highland Fleece. And I am making a baby sweater. So these are on my US 6, which is I'm not sure what millimeter that is. Let's find out. 4mm needle, US 6, which is 4mm. Chiagu interchangeables. And the the stitch markers are Selkie Studio Company. So what I'm doing with this, stitch markers are in a Selkie Studio Company tin too. So this is going to be a baby sweater for my cousin who is due. She's expecting October 3rd. And I'm very, very excited. And my cousin is a big winter girl. My fondest memories of her are all of our huge family traditions around the holidays, and she had a winter wedding and all this stuff. And so she's going to be coming home for Christmas for the first time in 7 years. So I mean, it's going to be the first time I've seen her since 2012, I think. It's been a while. And she and her husband have been trying to have kids for 4 or 5 years at this point. So I'm making a baby sweater, which I know they will cherish, and it's the Anders baby sweater. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and put in a picture if you can't see it, because again, I can't see what the camera sees. But it is the Anders baby sweater, and it has like little trees on the bottom. I'm really, really excited for that. I'm going to give it to the kid on Christmas, and she's going to flip. She's absolutely going to flip. So this is a very, very soft wool. I love the subtle tonality of this green. I just started this last night, and I'm really excited for it. Now, the pattern calls for US 5s. I could not find my US 5 interchangeables, but I'm starting to wonder if I should have used US 5s anyway. I might frog it if I decide I have to, because the smallest size is 3 to 6 months. And when the kiddo gets this, he's going to be like 2.5 months old. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm using US 6s. It is a little bit of a loose gauge, but it's still pretty nice. We'll see. If you have any thoughts or input, let me know. But yeah, that's where I'm at for that, and I'm pretty excited for that. And my final work in progress for today is, of course, my stained glass blanket. Quick interlude, if you are one of the testers for this blanket, thank you so much for giving me all of the input that you've given me. I've changed a lot about the pattern already, and it should be ready to release, hopefully, by the end of September. I'm planning to release it, if I can get it done at that point, September 27th, which is my birthday, so I figured that would be a fun sort of goal for me. And if you are a tester and you have not filled out the form that I posted, please fill that out. So, without further ado, what have I completed on this blanket? Well, since I saw you last, on the right side of my blanket, I have completed these 4 at the top. So this one is one of my opal minis. This one is a tiny one from Jessamine of the Knitted Towel. This is extra from my disco dance socks for my husband. This is another mini from Jessamine. And then on the bottom, I filled in all of the bottom triangles with black. Okay, so actually, it would look like this because it's the bottom. Now I have not filled in this one yet because it's going to be connected to the next base square. But at this point, this whole section, since I'm not doing any more base squares, all I have to do is finish weaving in the ends, and then this is like done. I'm going to set it aside and not work on it again until I'm ready to join all the sections on the bottom and make it a huge blanket, at which point it is not in any sense going to be portable anymore. Right now, I'm doing a lot of work on this in meetings because I can get about 1 square done a meeting, and things have just been so crazy recently that sometimes I get home and I don't even have the brain power to figure out what's in it, so I just keep working on this, which is part of why I've gotten so much done. And it's part of why I'm excited to get those needles so I can keep working on my Stern Taller socks, because those are another vanilla project that I could just work on. So, the other side, the left-hand side of the blanket, since I saw you last, I've completed this one, that one, those two, and those two. Of those ones, let's see, 4 of them, I believe, are from my friend Danielle, who does the Silky Studio Company stitch markers. One of them is from Carolyn of the Carolyn Mack of the Next Beautiful Thing podcast. And I'm not sure about the others. And I have also done 1 black triangle. A lot of what I do with the black triangles is, if I'm not sure what square to do next, if I haven't quite decided what colors are going where, then I'll just work on that because I know that's going to be what it is, right? So, yeah, that's how that is with my stained glass blanket. It is living in, and I'm using US 1.5. No. Yeah, US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter. And it is living in my Books and Kitties bag by You So and So. I did get a double zippered bag, and the one zipper has my blanket in it, and it's got like a library card fabric. And then the other one has like little books, and it's got extras from minis that I've already finished. My plan, if I can show you, it's like this. So what I'll do is I've got all the squares numbered, and I'll lay it out, and I'll plan out 5 or 6 squares at once. I'll take 5 or 6 minis, be like, I want this one there. And then I write them on the other side. And then when I finish those minis, they go into here. And I weigh them, I figure out exactly how much I've added to my blanket, and then I reset. I do the whole thing again. So yeah, that's that, and that is my last work in progress for today. So next up today is my July totals. Like I mentioned last time, July is not going to be a great month for me. I knew that going into it. Because I went on basically a yarning road trip. So in July, I used almost 3,000 yards, which is pretty good. But I brought in just over 9,000 yards, which left me at a total of 6,500 yards more in than out. So for the year, I've had 14,567 yards more come into my stash than leave my stash. Yeah. So it is what it is. I don't even really care that much at this point. It's just fun for me to keep track of it. I like to know how many yards I knit throughout the year. It helps me to, stay motivated and whatever. Yeah, and then the last segment is prattle. And so this is going to be kind of about my life. If that's all for you, have a fantastic day and thank you for tuning in. Otherwise, let's move on. So I came back from my family vacation. It was chaotic because that's how family is, right? And I got back. I had about a week before school started. And when I got back, I discovered that, well, I accepted a promotion, I guess, if you will, at work. So things are getting really, really crazy. I have a lot more responsibilities at work now than I used to. Planning things for not just me, but lots of other classrooms, lots of other teachers. It's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot. And it would be a lot of work, but there have also been some things going on at our school in general, specifically with, people getting sick, and so I have to cover for them and all sorts of stuff. So it's a lot more work than it would be already. I'm enjoying it. I'm glad that I took the job, but whew, I'm going a little bit crazy. And we did move over the summer, so everything is still in boxes. It's not great. It's really stressful. It's really stressful. But my birthday is coming up, and every year, September is crazy for me. I always blow my brains out a little bit. My birthday is at the end of September, and so something that I always do for myself is I say I get to restart on my birthday. I don't have to worry about catching up on everything. I get to restart. So I'm going to restart on, my chores. I'm going to restart on all this stuff. I get to restart. I don't have to worry about things until after that, and then it's like a fresh start for me, and it's nice. It's a good sort of limit for me, for how long I get to let myself just not worry about this before I start having to worry about it again. And by that point, it's usually calmed down enough that it's pretty okay. So if you didn't hear me talk about it before, I'm hoping to release my stained glass pattern around that stained glass pattern around that time. It is what it is. Oh, and I've also completely stopped watching knitting podcasts. I was a month and a half behind, and I think the last one, this was in August when I realized the last one I had watched was late May, early June. And it was too much pressure. So what I've done is I've done the same thing. I'm done, I'm taking a break, taking all the pressure off, and then after my birthday, I get to start fresh and clean and start with the newest ones. And it'll be good. It'll be really good for me. So that said, I know there's a lot of you out there that, that I've been talking to outside of just podcasts, that if you mention anything that you want me to know I didn't see it, and it's not that I'm ignoring you, just tag me or something. But yeah, that's how my life is going. I'm hoping to go camping at some point soon. That'll be really exciting. I haven't been camping in a while, and I think it'll be nice to just reset everything. I don't know that I have much else to say. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have a fantabulous time with all your crafting, and I'll see you later. Bye.